Yo, Shalom. Oh, praise to Yahweh, Shem Yahshua, Shem Kakadash. Double and see apostle, all those who great most on the rule one. Shalom to the brothers that are just in the watch, there in truth. This article on The Guardian. And, if you've been paying attention to the news, you'll just seen it in the last couple of days. Basically talking about how 4 in the 5 Vatican priests are a bunch of homosexuals, and that's been claimed by French journalist books. It says French journalist book is a startling account of corruption and hypocrisy, publisher says. This is some of the most senior clerics in the Roman Catholic Church who have vociferously attacked homosexuality are themselves gay, according to a book to be published next week. If you actually know what's going on planet Earth, this shouldn't come as a surprise, because you go into this Roman Catholic Church, which is meant to be the bastion, the chief house of righteous Christianity and that white Jesus. Then you'll be hearing about them orgies I was having down in Australia, I believe it was, or New Zealand. Man, we're having orgies with male prostitutes and porn stars. You'll be hearing about all these little boys getting popped. And the Pope admitting, like, yes, we have a problem with them popping little boys in the Vatican. So it's evident. But, these things are being brought to light. It's been outed now that it's just how, what the fuck's going on? That it's like, first of all, what the fuck is going on? There's all these goddamn homosexuals in the Vatican anyway. I'm sure 99, half of these priests, they would come in there when they were young and they're probably getting whopped out by some greasy old men back in the day, out in the countryside, the Italian countryside. So no, of course they're gonna grow up. They're all messed up, man. And they're meant to have vows of celibacy, but then in the scriptures, a bishop's meant to have one wife. So what these guys are going off, man? It says 80% of priests working in the Vatican are gay, although not necessarily sexually active, it is claimed in a book, In the Closet of the Vatican. The Vatican is just a closet, man, apparently. It says the 570-page book, which French journalist and author Frédéric Martel spent 4 years researching, is a startling account of corruption and hypocrisy at the heart of the Vatican, according to British publisher Bloomsbury. It is being published in 8 languages, blah, 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 blah. Says, with the opening day of a conference, next Wednesday, opening day of a conference, blah, 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 to which bishops all over the world have been summoned. Martel, a former advisor to the French government, conducted 1,500 interviews while researching the book, including with 41 cardinals, 52 bishops, and the monsignors, 45 papal ambassadors or diplomatic officials, 11 Swiss guards, and more than 200 priests and seminarians, according to a report on the Catholic website, The Tablet. Many spoke of the unspoken code of the closet, with one rule of thumb being that the more homophobic a cleric was, the more likely he was to be gay. So these guys are going off, man. What the hell, this is if you're a so-called black or a Hispanic and you're talking about, the Roman Catholic Church, this is basically what you do. You still got them dumbass spics. Them guys, that Northern Kingdom, them guys, their heads, I don't know what their brain's made of, man. Sewage. Because they're still sending their youths in to these criminal organizations. In Brazil, it was being out. There was a couple of guys being out in Brazil. I think, maybe Colombia as well. There's a couple places where it's like, well, actually, he says it here, funny as hell. It says many spoke about more likely he was gay. Martel alleges that one Colombian cardinal, the late Alfonso Lopez Trujillo, who's held a senior Vatican position, was an arch defender of church teaching on homosexuality and contraception while using male prostitutes, the tablet said. What the hell? Like, these guys are so burning in their lusts that they're actually using male prostitutes. These guys, these guys are going off, man. And this is meant to be. You got the Pope going round, and he's going to different countries, different leaders, saying, "Oh no, we need to work on this issue." It's just and that's just a big gay set. It's a child trafficking ring, because you got a lot of them little altar boys getting popped out, whopped out, and the guys are getting off. The guys are doing them acts, and they're just getting off. There's no, where's the judgment for that? They'll say, oh yes, we've had a report of this. The Vatican, they moved him to the countryside. What? Half of these guys, and they're still working around youths. A bunch of criminals, man. And it says what? Okay. It says the author found that some gay priests accepted their sexuality and maintained discreet relationships, but others sought high-risk casual encounters. Some were in denial about their sexuality. So basically, that's that what the hell that that is. That's just a big, yeah, a big like fuck. I don't know, man. It's just a raging homo den, man. Because what there's instructions. They said there's a closet. The rules of the closet. It's a given that you're just gonna be a raging homo, but it's just like there's a conduct you've just got to have whilst you're there. It says, but others sought high-risk casual encounters. Some were in denial about their sexuality. Although the book does not conflate homosexuality with the sexual abuse of children, Martel describes a secretive culture among priests that creates conditions in which abuse is not confronted, say people familiar with the book's content. Yeah, because it's the same with like all these different systems Esau sets up. He's got homosexuality and pedestry rife in multiple situations, man. In the football world, in movies, you had a lot of them guys coming out saying they're surrounded by a bunch of pedos. Like even Kevin Spacey got outed for popping that 14-year-old. That guy, these guys are trying to get off. The thing is in Esau's realms and all these realms, this homosexuality is rife. These wicked acts are going off left, right, and center. And no, and the thing is no one's actually there saying like no. And these, his book's coming out. Is anyone going to say okay, we need to arrest the Pope, need to arrest these criminals? Man said 4/5. These guys are meant to be, and these guys are meant to be teaching the word of God. On top of that, these guys, a bunch of raging homos, are meant to be teaching the word of God. What the hell's going on? It says what according to Bloomsbury's promotional material, Inside the Closet reveals secrets about celibacy, misogyny, and plots against Pope Francis. It uncovers a clerical culture of secrecy, which starts in junior seminaries and continues throughout the Vatican itself. Francis has riled his conservative critics in the Vatican over his apparently softer tone towards gay people. A few months into his papacy, he told reporters who asked about a gay lobby at the Vatican, if a person is gay and seeks God and has goodwill, who am I to judge? Well, that's not what God says. Let me skip down. I think this is this yeah. Yeah, so in December, this is the Pope himself said the issue of homosexuality is a very serious issue that must be adequately discerned from the beginning with the candidates for the priesthood. In our societies, it even seems that homosexuality is fashionable, and that mentality in some way also influences the life of the church. He said, so he's saying it's in vogue to be a raging homo, man. But that's these basically that just shows the Lord's not dealing with them guys. How is the Lord dealing with these guys? Are a bunch of raging homos. They're losing their minds, bending each other over backwards all day long, hiring male prostitutes, all that, having discreet relationships. Is that how the Lord said the men of God are gonna be? They're gonna be a bunch of closet homosexuals. They're gonna be teaching you're going off, saying you can't be a homosexual. But then behind the scenes he's blowing some rods, man. Greece. Let me read this. Romans 1. Let me start from verse 24. It says, wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Yeah, so these guys have been giving up to them unclean lusts, man. They are dishonoring their bodies, man. Because, you know, he's saying like that homosexuality is a fashion thing. The thing is bro, according to the law, that's completely off. That's not something that should be even being done, man. And there's a judgment in the scriptures for it, which is death. And it said your own blood's going to be upon you because you basically invited it upon yourself, man. And it says who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie and worship the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. So yeah, and the thing is, that's a big part of the Roman Catholic Church. Idolatry and paganism is part and parcel to the Roman Catholic Church. That's the thing. It's you know, part of the core foundation is built off is that paganism, man. That's why they have like Lent. They have all these. They have Jupiter all up in there. All kinds of idols, and then false icons everywhere, all around there as well, man. So basically, it's built off lies, and you know, and since Esau's taken over, you know, it's been pushing that white Jesus juice hard. It says what verse 26. For this cause the Most High gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. And he ain't even gone into what the nuns be getting up to. But I'm sure all kinds of offness be going down in there, man. Because if you got a bunch of raging homos, you got a bunch of young women up in there, they're gonna be burning anyway. Because that's why women weren't even allowed in the church until they're 60. Because before then, women are gonna have obviously gonna be burning, man. They're gonna be needing to get popped. That's part. You know, that's why. You know, it's in the order, man. You got to be dealing with women, man. It says, and likewise also men leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly. Yeah, and that's what you got going down in there. So you know, the same thing that happened back then. Now the Roman Catholic Church has greatly taken over. You know, that order of men work with men working that which is unseemly. And these guys, the thing is as well, is they're teaching that it's off. So they know it's off. And they're still doing it. That's like, you know, what kind of a disgusting, vile place is that, man? That's why, you know, how's righteousness meant to come out of that? These guys are, they're saying basically, do as I say, not as I do. You know, the guy's going to be blowing a rod, then he's going to come out, you know, wipe the sperm out of his mouth with a napkin, and then teach about some Jesus. Give me a break, man. It says, working that which is unseemly and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error which was meat, man. Yeah, receiving them creamy nuts, man. In the anus. But for real. And even as they did not like to retain the Most High in their knowledge, the Most High gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Yeah, so these guys have been given over to that reprobate mind. Because if you're there, you're gonna be a grown ass man, you're there burning all day long, looking at some 11-year-old boy's booty, thinking like, oh, I need that. Then you've been given over to a reprobate mind. This is what being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, that is an immense list. But it's basically, you encapsulate everything that's against the scriptures, man. So how the Roman Catholic Church and Christianity as a whole ain't got no business trying to come and even contest the word, because them guys don't know what the hell's going on, man. They don't know anything about the word. Don't know what the fuck's going on, man. And they're a bunch of raging homosexuals. So that's that just lets you know from there that they're not the ones, man. They ain't got the truth. But then everyone's still following them. So that just shows how gone this place is, man. But yeah, I'll leave it there, man. Shalom. Yeah,